good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on which position you are to the sun right now. Please attempt to adjust your antenna. There is something terribly wrong. God is attempting to take control as to bring you this special flow, but will return thou to thee as soon as ye are grooving. Welcome to station 1.BFREE infinitely, known throughout the galaxy as I Be Free. Infinitely coming around the mountain from the funkadelic side, 500,000 kilowatts, megahertz and subplots, dome of the extraterrestrial other, healers and funky music, spirit sound waves shock the bomb suddenly. A man with a craft in a trance on a mission. I'm picking up rising static in the transmission. Transformation to transition, radar to kingdom within. We're in position to make contact. 500 million light years ago, as the story goes, unloved brain cells roam the Thunderdome in neglect. No pure contact since an infant in check, throwing themselves to oncoming video screen tape decks to their death. But the warriors of light ride as the times, signs, and information all coincide. Contact. Some of us are here on earth to make contact. Welcome to Aroma Zone. I'm your host, Aromas. Welcome to another time in the zone. We talk about the friendly ghost, as they say, Casper growing up with the cartoon, but like Bootsy say, not the friendly ghost, but the Holy Ghost. The concept of ghost is basically an European term. Ghost mean haunted, mean fear, associated with large places, castles and places where a lot of negative and a lot of evil things were to occur. The concept of ghost was one that would scare us and it would make us afraid. But in the black and indigenous cultures, the concept is actually a spirit. It's a spirit. They use the word in the church, the Holy Ghost, but I prefer to use the word, the Holy Spirit. Holy mean good, of the ancestors, spirits that are thought of in loving, positive, warm remembrance ways. And the opposite of that is evil. I'd like to talk a little bit about this thing called Satan, or what they call the Satan, the opposition to the good, the Satan. There's a lot of talk in the air about this Satan, a lot of talk on the streets. How he controls our streets, he controls our environment, he controls the schools, he's even in the church. He's everywhere, because one thing you can tell, you can't see it, but it's always there. Satan, the controlling of the spirit. But Psalms 91, one more time. He that dwelleth in the sea, cret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. He that dwelleth in the sea, cret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. For it is in the air that God give the breath of life, and it is in the air that Satan fights his battle. The word flows like sound, and we capture between our ears, into our hearts, and into our minds, and released into the atmosphere. The story is told that Satan was the most powerful of all the angels. and he was also the most musical. Stories have it that Satan was the chief musician upon the earth, which means that now he controls the airwaves. He controls the business of music, and he awards them with his earthly rewards. On the last Grammys, the artist Madonna presented to the world what she called beautiful unholiness. And on the stage was a man who, we'll just leave it the fact that his position, who he was in question. But there was a man who was a woman who became a woman, or vice versa. And they had the flames, they had the fire, they had the forks and the pitchforks, they had the tails. And at the end of the video, when you saw that focus on that rear, you didn't know who the rear belonged to, pulling up the rear, but whether it belonged to a man or it belonged to a woman. They're very much on the move. But Madonna referred to this as beautiful unholiness. The years before, the artist that won, same thing, questionable in terms of where his allegiance lies. And he rode in on a Trojan horse and ended up promoting what they call Satan's shoe. Nike was involved, although they backed away later on. The shoe had a drop of, supposedly, of Satan's blood. It had the 666 inscribed on the heel. It had the pentagram. They sold out like within an hour. I don't remember the price. They had Jesus' shoe. No one was interested in that market. But Satan's shoe sold like hotcakes. This is what's being pushed and promoted from the music industry to people's minds all across the world. When I was growing up, there was a song back in the day from Motown. It said, "If this world were mine." And it gives an inkling of how a person, if they wanted to, how we could build the kingdom if we had the power within us to build the kingdom of God how we wanted to build it if it was up to us. But just like weeds in the garden, we grow, we know that we must eliminate certain things from the garden if the good fruit is going to grow. I said we must eliminate certain things from the garden if the good fruit is to grow. I said we must eliminate certain things from our garden if the good is going to grow. And we find ourselves at a crossroads here in America and all around the world. How do we eliminate the evil, the bad from our own garden every day? Because now we're in a battle for our soul. How do we eliminate the evil or the bad from our garden to go forth? Sounds simple, but it's not. It's either the hardest thing to do or it's one of the easiest things to do. Because letting go, it's not easy. It is written, the world we live in is not a battle of flesh and blood, but powers and principalities in high places. The ancient battle between God and Satan, depending on who you project the winner to be. You know, it's a lot of talk in the streets among black people about that very thing. Or who's going to win that battle? Or who is winning that battle? It is said whoever controls the air controls the outcome between the ears. Let those who have ears, let them hear. And let those hear, H-E-R-E, build the kingdom that we hear. Here to do on earth as it is in heaven. So why not? I know that's crazy. Why not build our world on earth as it is in heaven? I mean, some people are waiting for the by and by. But if we are here, if we made it, we survived all of the seeds. I don't know how many millions of seeds that we overcame to be that one seed that made it to this earth plane. So as we walk around in these bodies with these fingers and these eyes and these hands and these legs and these arms, what are we here to do? We didn't make ourselves, but what are we here to do? The song says, I don't know what you came to do, but I came to praise. And in that praise is the raise. We raise in the middle of the praise. Now, in many environments, the mind is always there in every environment. It's the talk now of mental health. It's a big thing. Mental. What is our mental health? Mental. Recently, I've been speaking from that perspective in 3 different ways to affect how do we build the kingdom or create the kingdom on earth. First, the environmental. What we surround ourselves with. What's in our environment. The things that we have around us and how that affects our mental. Instrumental. The sounds that go inside of our ears and into our spirit. Our instrumental intake. And fundamental. The basics. Things that are fun, things that we enjoy doing, and how that affects our mental. All of these things are mental exercises that we can start in our own home, in our own way, to bring about the kingdom, or as they say, the kingdom, the health of our environment, what we surround ourselves with, what we listen to, what we take in, like what we tell the children all the time when I teach class. The youth ministry. It's not what people call you, it's what you hearken to. Hey, big fat head! First thing people do, they look around to the sound. They tune themselves to that frequency. One thing we must do is focus on what it is that is about us. The old saying goes, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt me. That is a lie. Our culture, in the black culture, we hold on 30, 40, 50 years. Somebody said something in 1982, and we still mad and upset about it. It's something in our culture that would not let us let go. So I say, at this time, on the 27th day of April, 2023, let us decide to let go. Let it all go. Let go. Things that are not good for us in our environment to better build the kingdom, because the flow of God's good energy is important. Feng Shui. I'm going to say that again. Feng Shui. We need to practice some form of Feng Shui. It's an ancient art from the Orient. I asked Willie Chambers to do a feng shui in his house. What's that, Roman voodoo? I said, no. Feng shui is the art of, let me just put it this way, which way the wind blows, which way the water flows. Everything that you see affects you in a positive, uplifting light. In feng shui, everything matters. And the Orientals take it very, very deeply. Which way your house is facing. Which way your windows in relationship to your bed. What you have behind your doors. Everything affects you. How I do it, I do an urban feng shui. I call it Kung Feng Shui. And it's tuned to the frequency of each room. What you see, how you use the room, how you use the space. We need to eliminate a lot of things from our life. Certain things we're eating are no good. Like the brother said, man, I'm about to eat a hamburger and go off on you. Making reference to the fact that he was going to become aggressive once he chewed on the blood. What we have all around us, just so many of us are surrounded with so many things, and part of these things we cannot focus. And what do we need to focus on? We need to focus on God, focus on the good, focus on why we're here, focus on what we do within time and space. That's so, so important, because everything we see is meant to uplift us. Everything we do is meant to uplift us. And believe it or not, everything we have is meant to uplift us. We're here to build the kingdom. And it's getting harder and harder to focus with all the physical and mental clutter, things coming into our life that stop us from moving. This is why eliminating bulk and waste from the system helps it flow and grow better. Eliminating bulk and waste from our system helps us grow and helps us flow better. But now we arrive at the crossroads. That's either the easy part or the hard part. How do we hold on? How do we let go? What do we hold on to? What do we let go of? Letting go is very difficult to some. Some people grab hold of things and let go very, very easily. Other people hold on to things forever. In the Orient, the people of the Orient hold on to things for a long, long time. They have one table for 80 years. In America, we'll buy 5 tables, 10 years. It's a whole different mindset, but it's just value, putting value on what we have. Psalms 91, one more time, and this is one of my favorites, because it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And that secret place is not available to everybody. That's why it's called a secret. So let us love, let us envelop and develop, and show care and concern for our total environment, for our backyards, for our living rooms, for our cars, whatever God puts in our hands to do. It says, do it with thy might. That's in Proverbs. Whatever he allows us to do it with thy might. When I was the youth minister helping at Della Risa's church, I was invited to what they call the annual Players Ball, where my neighbor, a lady who I grew up with, whose husband was involved. And I went with some people, and I ended up being on the red carpet through one of the paparazzi hollering out who I knew, Malcolm Ali, a good brother. Anyway, I'm in the room now, and I'm kicking off the proceeding that they decided that I should speak to this group of people. Too Short was in the room, Suge Knight was in the room, Fillmore Slim, famous pimps and players, and people from this life. And remember Della Reese telling me, go in their rooms and give them a message. And I said, well, all right. I wasn't planning to speak, but as I stood there on the stage with Yo-Yo at the mic, and I'm thinking, what do I say? I remember once they gave me the mic, I said, forget the devil. Let's take pimping to a whole new level. And by that, I mean, a commercial had just come out, Pimp My Whopper, Pimp My Cold Medicine, Pimp My Ride. Pimping mean to make better, to embellish, to bring out the best. And so I'm saying that to say, let us embellish, let us make better, let us take something that is negative and make it positive. because it's either heaven or hell. We either in heaven, people, or we're in hell, depending on what we believe and where we're going to go when we leave here. Some people say they're going to go to heaven. Other people have made it in their minds they're going to hell. It says in the Bible, on earth as it is in heaven. And to me, that means that while we're here in this earth realm, walking in these physical bodies, that we as human beings should build the kingdom. Some kind of magical Disneyland type of a place, which I agree with. I think we should do that, to take our time and our energy and build a paradise while we're here. Now, some people said, no, it's not here, Brother Romas. Heaven is far, far away. Well, that depends. Your perspective determines your outcome. Do I stand and build the kingdom of heaven, or do I lay down and just let hell blaze all around me? A man walked the earth named Jesus Christ, and the earth has never, ever been the same. Because Jesus said, you shall have powers of mine, and even greater. And he said, as a man thinketh, so is he. So I suggest you know that man within you, who Jesus is, what he is in relationship to your life and your salvation. Right now, let's listen to a song that I recorded many years ago with the Mighty Hearts. I know a man. I know a man. I know a man. I know a man from Galilee. Yeah. I know a man from Galilee. If you're in sin, say it again, y'all. Listen again. He was the one that healed the sick. He was the one that raised the dead. With 2 little fishes and 5 loaves of bread. Tell me a hungry crowd sure enough was fed. Oh, I want to know, do you really know him? Do you know him for yourself? If you know him, you can say this with me. Oh, he was the one that calmed the raging sea, walked on the water so that Peter could see. There is no secret to what the law can do. What he done for others, he's gonna do for you. Do you really know him? Do you know him for yourself? If you know him, you can testify. And all billows and break Do you know him? Proverbs. Righteousness exalts the nation, but sin is a reproach to my people. Look what's happening in the nation right now. In this nation and nations all over the world. Things are happening like never before. And how do we deal? Proverbs 15. A soft answer turneth away wrath. That's medicine. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Some people tend to believe that by getting loud and boisterous and ignorant and ghetto, as they say in the streets, that they're correct. But it says a soft answer turneth away wrath. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. Our young people today, it's hard. They say it's hard to take a straightening. Hard to correct a tree when it's growing wrong. But with love, we can do it. And with music and with the arts. Our Father which art, how great thou art. It's the fourth word. It's the word that goes forth. Let us continue for that word to go forth in this world. We need music places like bomb shelters in every home. Let us create music. Put pianos in your home. Put drums in your home. Put guitars in your home. Expose your children to music, all kinds of music. Classical music, jazz music, blues, funk, gospel, everything, because at the heart of it all, if you hear the Spirit behind it, God lives. So let us live in the heart of God in all that we do. And let us remember, let us improve our mental, let us focus our mental in our instrumental, in our fundamental, and in our environmental. Let us bless the earth every day that we live. My name is Aromas. Welcome again to another episode of Aroma Zone.